Everyone sees the highlight, the final whistle, the trophy raised, the roar of the crowd. But what they don't see, what they'll never truly understand, is the countless days that led up to it. The mornings when the body screamed, a rest, and the mind answered back with one more. The empty fields, the silent gyms, the quiet meals, the disciplined routine repeated so often it became identity. That's the power no one talks about. Consistency, not hype, not flashes of effort, just showing up over and over, especially when it's hard, especially when no one's watching, especially when the results aren't showing yet. That's the kind of mindset that builds something unbreakable. That's what separates those who only dream from those who become. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not loud. It doesn't always get applause. But it delivers something no shortcut ever will, results that last. See? Anyone can show up when they feel inspired. Anyone can train hard on a good day. But what about the days when your legs are heavy? When your motivation is gone? When no one's expecting anything from you? That's when consistency becomes your edge. Because champions don't wait for the perfect mood. They rely on the standard they've set. And that standard, it's not built in a week. It's built in the grind, in the repetition, in the boring, brutal, beautiful process of becoming better every single day. People often ask, what's the secret? But the truth is, there is no secret. There's only work, and not just once, not just occasionally, but daily, with intensity, with intention, with no compromise. Because true greatness doesn't explode into existence. It grows quietly, patiently, like water carving stone, one drop at a time. And the most dangerous competitor in any room isn't the fastest or the strongest. It's the one who never breaks the chain. The one who keeps showing up. The one who builds when others rest, who prepares when others party, who stays steady while the world drifts. That person becomes a storm. Because their consistency gives them a power the inconsistent will never touch. Control over their body, their habits, their thoughts, their future. And consistency isn't about being perfect. You'll fall. You'll have off days. But the difference is you come back. You don't let a mistake become your story. You don't let a setback end your streak. You reset. You recommit. You go again. That's the discipline champions live by. It's not about streaks. It's about standards. It's not about motivation. It's about mission. And it's not something you're born with. It's something you choose every single day. You want to know what turns potential into reality? What turns effort into excellence? What turns belief into legacy? Consistency. Not one great performance, but 1,000 ordinary ones stacked together until they become extraordinary. Because when the lights come on and the world starts watching, it's already too late to prepare. You either did the work or you didn't. You either stayed consistent or you didn't. And that moment reveals everything. Let me know when you're ready for the expansions or the final motivational ending. Success isn't born from occasional bursts of energy. It doesn't come from a single big moment, one perfect effort, or a flash of brilliance. Success is shaped by repetition. The quiet, uncelebrated, often overlooked consistency that compounds over time. You can train with full intensity one day, but if you disappear for the next 5, the effort fades. Intensity might start the fire, but repetition keeps it burning. People love to chase intensity. It's loud. It feels good. It makes you believe that you're getting somewhere fast. But the truth is, it's not about how hard you can go once. It's about how many times you're willing to show up, especially when it gets boring, uncomfortable, or exhausting. Repetition is not exciting, but it's effective. It's dependable. It delivers, even when motivation disappears. Anyone can be great once. Anyone can give their all for a moment. But greatness doesn't come from moments. It comes from patterns, from rituals, from showing up and doing the same basic, fundamental things over and over until mastery is no longer a goal, but a result. Because repetition builds skill. Repetition sharpens instinct. Repetition creates results that intensity alone never will. Look at anyone who's risen to the top of their craft. They didn't get there because they trained once like a monster. They got there because they trained consistently like a machine. They built their strength brick by brick, day by day, not because it was easy, not because they felt like it, but because they knew. You don't rise by doing what's intense. You rise by doing what's necessary. Again and again, intensity fades. It drains you. Repetition, on the other hand, builds endurance. It makes discipline automatic. It turns effort into identity. Eventually, the things that were once hard become second nature. You no longer think about doing them. You just do. That's where the real shift happens. When the work stops feeling like a task and starts feeling like who you are. But repetition is hard because it's not glamorous. It doesn't get recognition. No one cheers when you wake up early again. No one applauds your 1000th rep. No one sees the hours you spend alone, refining your craft. But that's where success lies. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows of repetition. And the beauty of repetition is that it doesn't rely on talent. It's not about being the most gifted. It's about being the most committed. If you're willing to repeat the basics when others chase shortcuts, if you're willing to do the same routine long after the hype wears off, you will go further than the ones who only know how to sprint. Repetition teaches you patience. It teaches you respect for the process. It builds confidence, not from what you hope to become, but from what you've already done day after day. That kind of foundation is unshakable. When others fold under pressure, you won't. Because you've put in the reps. You've done the work. You know you're ready. So the next time you feel like going all out, ask yourself, can I do this again tomorrow? And the day after that. Because that's what it takes. Not a single heroic effort, but 1,000 ordinary ones done with discipline and purpose. Success isn't found in the explosion. It's found in the repetition of simple steps done with relentless focus. It's not what you do once that defines you. It's what you're willing to do every single day. Showing up is where it starts, but it's not where it ends. Consistency isn't just about being present once in a while. It's not just checking a box or making a temporary effort. Real consistency is about commitment. It's about staying. It's about never leaving the path, even when it's hard, when the results don't show right away, even when your motivation disappears. Because true consistency doesn't ask how you feel. It asks who you want to become. A lot of people show up. They start strong. They begin a journey, hit the gym for a few days, eat clean for a week, read a book for a while, or chase a dream for a month. But then life gets inconvenient. The excitement fades. The results are slower than they expected. And slowly, they leave. Not always dramatically, but gradually. A skipped day here, a small excuse there. Until what started as, I'm all in, becomes, I'll try again later. But champions, they don't just show up. They stay. They build routines that are stronger than emotion. They train on the days they feel weak. They commit to the process when no one's clapping for them. That's what separates them. Not their talent, not their luck, but their refusal to walk away. Because when you never leave, you don't lose momentum. You don't have to keep starting over. You don't fall into the trap of inconsistency where every step forward is followed by 2 steps back. Instead, you stack wins, small, silent, unglamorous wins, until they become something undeniable. That's the power of staying. That's what turns good into great, and great into unstoppable. Consistency means showing up when it's boring, when you're not in the mood, when it feels like nothing is happening. Those moments are the real test. Not the loud, visible ones, but the quiet days when progress is invisible and quitting seems reasonable. That's when people disappear. That's when the average give up. But the ones who stay, they evolve. You can't build strength without staying. You can't grow mastery without showing up and staying there, again and again, long after the hype is gone. Mastery lives in the mundane, and only the consistent ever reach it. And it's not about perfection. You will miss days. You'll stumble. You'll get tired. But never leaving doesn't mean never falling. It means never quitting. It means you don't let one off day become your exit. You don't let one failure become your identity. You reset, you return, you keep going. The path to any form of greatness isn't built on grand gestures. It's built on the daily choice to remain committed. To be the person who doesn't flinch when it gets tough. To be the one who's still grinding when everyone else has given up. That kind of consistency isn't normal. It's elite, because the world is full of people who start things. Full of energy on day one. Full of plans, promises, and potential. But few are still there on day 100. Or 1000. Fewer still are there when no one's looking, no one's cheering, and nothing is guaranteed. So don't just show up once. Show up every time. And when it stops being exciting, stay. Stay when it's uncomfortable. Stay when it's quiet. Stay when it's hard to believe you're making progress. Because every time you stay, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you stay, you build your legacy. Every time you stay, you become the kind of person who doesn't just start. You finish. Consistency isn't about flashes of effort. It's about a fire that never goes out. It's not about showing up once. It's about never, ever leaving. You can train hard one day, but if you don't come back the next, it fades. You can show up with fire once, but if you walk away when it gets cold, the fire dies. That's the truth about greatness. It isn't built in moments of intensity. It's built in the quiet, in the boring, in the unglamorous repetition of discipline. The difference between where you are and where you're meant to be is not in some secret trick or massive leap. It's in the small decisions you make every single day, stacked on top of each other, with relentless commitment. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about staying in the fight long after others have tapped out. And not because it's easy, not because it always feels good, but because you've made a decision, a non-negotiable, that you are not going to quit on yourself, that you're not going to take shortcuts, that you're not going to let emotions dictate your destiny. Because you've seen the truth. Success isn't found in a single moment. It's found in the repetition, in the rhythm of showing up every day, no matter what. In doing what most people won't, long enough to create what most people never will. And once you learn to control yourself, your thoughts, your habits, your reactions, nothing else can control you. You become untouchable, not because you're the strongest, but because you're the most unbreakable. And when you've built that kind of consistency, the kind that refuses to leave, the kind that never dies down, the kind that lives beyond motivation, you've already won. You've crossed the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to be. You've created a version of yourself that doesn't wait for greatness to happen. You build it. Quietly, repeatedly, relentlessly. So keep showing up, keep putting in the reps, keep standing tall, even when nothing seems to be working, because that's when it is working. That's when you're becoming who you were born to be. And when the world finally sees the result, they call it talent. They'll call it luck. But you'll know the truth. It was consistency. It was control. It was the power of never leaving. And that power, it's in your hands.